Well,
Oh, good
good
morning.
morning.
Well, hello,
Sarah, I'm going to do
Steve.
this show on my own.
Oh
I was
my
getting
gosh.
nervous. I can't
You got
do it.
nervous for that
Sarah.
split second. You're like,
I was
Sarah's
like,
outie.
Sarah's not here, but I could do it for our live viewers. We already got Lou here watching. He's
Can
always
we
there.
talk about how the fact that we kind of like color coordinate without
I like
ever
it.
trying?
I
I know
it.
we're not wearing the
You're on
same
point.
color per se, but like the color
Very
scheme.
summery. We got our summery safari look going right now. I
Oh,
think is
summer
what we got.
safari. Well, we have Safari Sarah when she's outdoors, and I presume Safari Steve. So
Have you been on a safari before, Sarah?
I have not. I was looking
Oh,
forward to doing it at some point. Well, I mean, maybe like a pseudo safari in Sri Lanka, but not like in Africa, not like the classic safari that way.
Got it.
But-
Look, oh my God. Kay Frederick in here.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Good morning. Wow.
Hey, Steve has Miami Vice look going today. Hey, man.
Yeah.
We got to be ready for Miami. And it's steamy out there.
Oh, what is the weather like right now for you?
In Miami?
Yeah.
Oh, we are steamy. It is probably 90 some degrees, feel like temperature over 100, but I love it. I love this time of jungle heat in Miami. I went for a run this morning. It's like working out in a sauna. Same thing last night. Felt good working out outdoors and just drenched. I dig it. But you got to be careful.
Working out in a steam room. If you're in the desert, it's like a sauna.
Mm-hmm. Manzi Digital pre-show meeting actually takes place 24 hours in advance. Never.
No.
We just show up here. We just show up here. Paul Manzi.
That's just our Gemini connection.
That's right. Well, we got a lot going on in our world. I don't think I can announce mine yet, but got a little surprise. Maybe I'll have a special guest joining us in 47 days. I will. Soon.
Okay.
My kids watch the show, so I'm trying to keep it as a surprise for them too. But we
got
that.
gosh! Well, don't share yet.
Yeah, but we haven't traveled much this week. You and I have been, I think, homebound, unless you were out and about.
Okay, no, I am grounded literally for like the next 3 weeks, and I am going stir crazy. And it's not because I need to travel, but just because like I am not stimulated where I am. And I'm just like, all I do is work at my computer and work out. I'm like, my life is so boring.
Right. People call Sarah, let her know you're in town.
No. I don't want to hang. No, I'm not trying to hang out with people. In fact, I'm turning down invitations to hang out with people. I'm in my hibernation phase.
Well, I'm grateful that you get to hang out here with us every single week here, Sarah.
That I like.
And with that, listen, this episode is always great. You know why? Because it's brought to you by StayFi. And StayFi helps short-term rental operators build direct guest relationships through branded Wi-Fi portals, email marketing, and guest data tools that turn one-time bookers into repeatable guests. Start growing your direct booking revenue today at stayfi.com/goodmorninghospitality. That's stayfi.com/goodmorninghospitality. Thank you, StayFi.
Wow. I love that read. I just have to say, I just sit quietly and I just like watch the magic happen.
I've been listening to a podcast. You know Jason Bateman, the actor? Jason Bateman.
Oh, yeah, of course I do.
Great ad reads. I've been listening to him on his podcast. I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm going to start using some.
Yeah.
Lou said ad read score. Nice. 9.
Yeah. I would say.
Trying to work up to 9.5. We're almost there.
Ooh.
Well, we have a lot of news to cover today.
We do.
You want to talk about the first one and get into the first kind of?
Yeah, before we get into our big topic, we get into our big topic, just kind of like a quick mention, came out yesterday. Our dear friends over at Mews, they are cutting roughly about 15% of staff, basically pointing to AI restructuring. They announced that they're cutting 15% of its roughly 1,350 person staff in its deepest restructuring since the pandemic. Obviously, a lot of this is due to AI making certain roles obsolete. We have talked about this before, right?
Yeah, we talked about this many times. Like, yeah, I just think, I was talking about this, I remember 3 years ago when we were first starting the show, and you're like, no, I don't know. Like, but it's going to happen. Like, I think, look, we know Richard really well, and it's, this is what you have to do to stay competitive, stay efficient, and continue to grow, because you have these positions that are not revenue generating positions that a lot of them I'm not talking specifically for Mews, but just I see it in hotels. I see it in all different kind of operations. If you're entering things into a spreadsheet, if you're answering phones, if you're in a cost making department like accounting or HR or support departments, those things very soon I could see getting trimmed more and more and more, especially with all the technology that's out there. In my company, we're not a gigantic company, but we're already doing things where we used to pay people thousands and thousands of dollars. A team member can now do it with the help of AI. And there's all different kinds of things out there right now. So I see it in the consulting world. You and I talked about this, where I used to get calls all the time for little things. Those little things are no longer phone calls, right? It's more bigger projects, things that are a lot more complex because people can now figure out solutions. So no hit against Mews. We hate to see people lose their jobs, but I'm telling you all now, if you're doing those kind of things, you got to start figuring out a way that you, like I tell team members and people I work with all the time, how can you pay for yourself? How are you paying for your salary and giving extra value to that company you're working for? Because if you're not, and you're just a cost, those positions are soon, I think, going to get more and more eliminated and get slimmer and slimmer as the years go. So,
well, I think more than just being a cost, I think it just depends on what like the job duties are. But it's interesting. I'm actually a big fan of watching the Diary of a CEO podcast. I listen to that a lot, and he has a lot of discussions with different AI experts, economists, all of that, and even Stephen Bartlett, the CEO of that, and he's grown his company tremendously. And he even says that even in the past year, for example, he's making very different hiring decisions, and roles of different team members are actually changing. So it really is all over. So, and it's not to point necessarily at AI being a bad. I mean, look, we've gone through different technological jumps at different times, like with the internet, with this, whatever. And so this is just going to be kind of that new wave, and depending how you utilize it in your current job, I mean, it will obviously impact so many ways. Everything's changing. Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing.
From like I think it was 1940s, and it was a office space, like a Fortune 500 company from back in that time, and there was just a giant room filled with people on typewriters. And their title in that picture, all those people's titles, their job title was computer. They're computing data and all those things. And then, 30 years later, the first computer as we know it came out, and all those people got wiped out. So I think it's something similar, but they all found new kind of jobs and places to work. But I think we're going through that wave more and more, and it's going to speed up over the next 24
even in the concierge world. I mean, they've been kind of their knees have kind of been buckling a little bit to be like, oh my gosh, how do we stay relevant?
We saw the AI tools that were at high tech. They were saying, hey, we can answer the phones that sound like a voice. We can recommend, events and all these things, and you get a commission for what you book, right? So all of a sudden, that money, that concierge, like, you used to get things, I'm sure, that.
More than half of my salary was in commissions. That's why we got paid so little. Because we did very well, but now it's just not quite the same.
Now that commission, the hotel companies want that commission, right? So little by little, things are changing. I'm sure it will even out, but we wanted to make sure we touch on that. But Mews, it's a big decision. It's a hard decision, I'm sure, for those founders. It's never easy to make those decisions, but
never easy. Strong. All right, let's go into our big main topic for today. Switching gears a little bit here. Extended stay demand hits a 4-year high as supply thins. So extended stay hotel demand grew 6.2% year over year May, which is the fastest monthly gain since February of 2022, and the fourth straight month just above the sector's 5% long-term average. To give you an idea, comparable conventional hotel demand grew just about 0.7%. So, I mean, this is an interesting time. I mean, obviously, we're seeing the long-term success of this. Extended stay demand has grown. I mean, it's grown in 41 out of the past 42 months. And just because, it continues. I mean, a lot of things have changed, obviously, in the past 5-6 years, and so workforce housing needs, displaced residents, non-discretionary demand, all of that on top of the business traveler base has just increased that need. So it's very interesting.
We've talked about it now for a little bit, where it's the barbell, right? Where we see at the very top, you have all the ultra luxury properties growing, and they continue to grow. And you see more and more of those continue to be successful, and people in that high net worth will pay whatever it takes to have that experience and that what they want. But then that mid tier, that that upscale has not been growing at all. Those mid tier brands, people just don't have the money for it, and they're spending it in a different way. They want more space that the extended stay gives you, right? You can cook in those rooms. You can stay there for longer periods and not feel cramped up because you're getting a suite basically for a very reasonable price because there's not much staff on that hotel property. And I think the other thing too I was thinking about today was people are used to it now. Like, I don't need a room service or mini bar. These things I can do Uber Eats or DoorDash, or if I need certain things done, I can just get on a certain app and have it delivered directly to me. And so these are all things that really start pushing that, and they're less expensive to build. Like, you don't need to have that much staff. You don't need much things there. And you have a lot of ancillary revenue, whether it's laundry facilities on site, the vending machines. There's a ton of things that you can add to extended stay that don't require labor that also generate money. So it's an interesting model that you see the brands keep growing with.
Funny that you say this because I remember back in the day when it just kind of like when people were finally doing Uber Eats and all that, when I would stay at a hotel, I actually felt guilty ordering Uber Eats at a hotel because I was like, oh my God, I like it. Like, you're bringing outside food in, which it's like, duh, you can do whatever you'd like. But now it's so much more commonplace. But before, it felt like, oh no, I'm being sneaky, like going around the hotel's food offerings.
Yeah, it was a whole big thing. I even remember prior to pandemic, I was trying to set up our own ghost kitchen in our hotel.
Oh yeah.
I got shut down, but I wanted to because we were losing our room service revenue out to Uber Eats and DoorDash and all the others out there. I was like, well, we'll create our own brand that shows up on these sites, and had conversations with Uber Eats, and we could create, I don't know, Steve Sushi that existed in the back of house, and it would get delivered to your room at a different price, but we wouldn't lose out on that revenue. So, there's a lot of fun things that our hotels are not doing in that space.
No, totally. Well, so to quickly just kind of go back to this article, just to talk about it a little bit more. So more than just extended stay, what's interesting is upscale extended stay, which you were kind of talking about, obviously, like upscale markets. And so what'll be cool is to see what kind of develops with this over the next few years, because now we'll have a different option for just extended stay that's going to be a little bit more elevated.
I think it's those branded apartments. The branded apartments is what's going to fill in. That's where that's going to come in.
That actually makes sense.
And I see Lou. He's a perfect example of what we're talking about. So he stayed in an extended stay place when he first moved to Charleston because his house wasn't ready, and it worked fine for him. And we see it too. Like, a lot of the guests that stay in our short-term rentals for our hospitality management company, Tangy, they stay for 2 weeks, 3 weeks because they're having work done in their homes, or they need a place to stay, or they're moving, or they're just checking out a city. Like we were talking about backstage, that's where we see a lot of it too. So we see people staying for 3-4 weeks in these locations. So, it's been around a long time. I think it will continue to grow, especially if you can have it branded, use your points, and get some benefits while you're there. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. But Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, Choice, and Wyndham, they're all continuing to invest there. So I think we're going to keep having new brands to add to whose brand is it anyway at the end of the show.
Definitely will. Definitely. All right. Well, why don't we do, we've got another sponsor mention to do. I'll go ahead. I'll take this.
All right. Don't get nervous.
I'll take this. So before we move on, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Bilt. They've helped restaurants and hotel F&B teams better understand their guests and create more personalized experiences that drive repeat visits. So if you care about loyalty and guest experiences, it's worth checking out. Head to joinbilt.com/GMH. So thank you, Bilt.
Nicely done. All right, Lou, what do you get a rating on fair on that one? Let's see.
No, that was not one of my. No. Although I don't know how much I can mention this, but I do have their card, and I've been playing around with their points, and probably one of my next trips to New York, I am going to be looking into booking a hotel through them just because I get a lot of interesting perks. Cool. So from a consumer perspective, big fan. And I literally have it here next to me. It stays here with me, which I love. So why don't we go ahead and go to our next topic here? Hilton.
Yeah.
This is interesting. So Hilton is opening up a direct line to Navan, cutting out the middleman. So I don't know if for those that might not be familiar with Navan, they are a a booking platform specifically for like business travel. And so they are launching a direct booking connection that pulls rates, availability, marketing content, all of that straight from Hilton's reservation system, bypassing the GDS middlemen who have traditionally charged about $4 to $8 per stay, and also had limited hotel marketing. So as little as 80 characters of text. So what is interesting with this is, I mean, this will change a lot when it comes to the world of business travel.
You do a lot of booking of travel for people. So how do you see this? How do you think it's going to affect? Is it a big thing? Because I had not heard of Navan until I read the article. Because I know it's really for companies and business travel. What do you think?
Well, I'm familiar with Navan, and some of the other bookings companies. I mean, I understand. So what they are is they're basically a tool that their employees can use in-house to book their trips, and they make it super user-friendly, really easy to kind of basically keep costs all in one place and or offer up, okay, these are hotels within this price point, etc. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I don't use that system because I have travel agent capabilities, so I'm going kind of direct to source with it. It's interesting to say. I mean, I'm trying to it's going to change the landscape. I don't know that I have like my full finger on the pulse yet of how it's going to change it.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is like, all right, I understand Navan, like you have a big company, you have a lot of business travel coming through it. They get to choose where they want to stay within the guidelines that the company sets up. And then it's easier to kind of do accounting and track everything in one place. But the big thing here is really the savings, right? $4 to $8 per booking saved for the Hilton. A lot. It's gigantic, right? And so if you start doing that over hundreds of thousands of reservations, that comes straight to the bottom line. And so that's really where the big difference comes. If you can wipe out, I think this is a good test to see like, all right, we don't need, the GDS systems. And then I really want to get away from OTAs because we keep marketing, book directly with us, get into our app, use our system. That's really where the big savings come because you're still getting that booking. And if you can make that booking more valuable by not having commissions come out, that's where this is going to work big time if they can get it to work.
Well, and the trick is going to be having those relationships with these specific hotel companies. So it's great, for example, that Navan has Hilton, but then what about, Marriott, obviously, that, what about IHG? What about, all of that? So once you kind of get the big brands, I think that, that makes sense. It will make it challenging for more smaller and boutique properties that might not necessarily have the capability to have that direct access to maybe build out that feature. But also with business travel, especially in some of these bigger companies, how many people are staying at independent hotels? I don't know. Are they really, so it's going to change some things.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, Lonnie. Good to see you, ma'am.
Good morning.
It will change some things. Let's hope. I'm cheering them on. I'm always a big fan of the direct bookings, especially when I see how much we pay out in commissions to these OTAs. Like we get the business from them, but it is a nice chunk of the revenue or the net income at the bottom. So keep it going, Hilton. Let's see what comes up. We'll follow up on this one. This one I'm curious about.
This is cool. Yeah. So airlines are basically turning live entertainment into loyalty strategies. So I love this. So this kind of comes on the heels of British Airways securing naming rights for the new Arc concert venue in West London, which is, a dedicated theater opening in 2027. This will be the largest permanent theater built in London in almost 50 years. What's cool is that club members, they get reserve tickets, branded lounge access, and they also earn how do you pronounce that? Is it Avios or Avios? I think it's Avios. Somebody let us know. Do you know what it is? Good. Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, that's true.
I would say Avios.
But basically what this is talking about is we're now seeing a lot of these airlines investing in these spaces. So for example, you've got Delta, they've got their clubs, but they also have their most recent club that opened up actually in Las Vegas. But they've got clubs like in Madison Square Garden, Yankee Stadium, the Sphere. It's Cathay Pacific, they partnered with Andrew Lloyd Webber's LW Theaters. They've been doing that since 2024. So it's interesting because it's more than just kind of like putting your name on the outside of a building, but it's really kind of owning that whole experience in adjacent industries, I think, which is.
I like it. Again, if you're a diehard fan of that brand, I know like you are with Delta, right? I could see it very soon. Like we talked about it with, I forget the name of the airline that was over in, was it Europe or in Asia, that bought hotels, and now they have really vertical integration where it's like airline, hotel, and travel and experiences. I think we're going to see more and more of that. And we talked about like what airline we would want to see get into the hotel game.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys listening and watching put in all the brands you would like to see. And we're already used to fighting to get into these clubs anyway when we go to the airports and waiting in line just to get some free items in those places. I know with the American Express one, I do that. You're in with Delta, and there's the American and Airlines has their new lounge. And so I think it's just a natural extension of what you're used to. And if you can get points and get credit and all these fun kind of activations, it's going to continue to grow.
Well, I will say this just to quickly address like the Amex lounge versus the Delta or United, etc. You got to think about this with Amex. Amex is airline agnostic. So it doesn't matter what you're flying, and it has to do with the credit card. And that's why Amex lounges are so full, because it's like, it doesn't matter what airline you're flying. Whereas, in my particular case with Delta, obviously I'm going to opt for the Delta lounge. Most likely I'm flying Delta, but because I have status and because of how much I spend with Delta, I will get on the short end of that line, should there end up being one. So this is, again, where loyalty pays. But what's interesting, kind of going back to this experiences thing, is actually seeing how much these like spaces end up actually converting into like flight bookings. So they haven't
I'll
really.
tell you this, like if I let's say American Airlines, that's what I fly like out of Miami.
Yeah.
I've never flown as much as I have in the past 12 months, other than this year. This is the most I've ever flown.
Sure.
I'm now very like focused on, I want to get my points and I want to get my upgrades. And if American Express had a lounge where the Miami Heat play and you could get access to it by spending a certain amount of dollars on the flights, I'd be all about it. So I think we're gonna see more and more of these interesting ways that connect to the airlines, and I would book more flights if I could get into that concert that I really want to get to and have access to that box during that time.
It's a very different perspective when you start getting into that loyalty game, because definitely like at a certain part of the year, you're like, oh, that's fine. I will actually pay for a more expensive flight because that will get me closer to my next status level. Where, if you're flying more infrequently.
Yeah, before when we first started this, I was flying, I don't know, once or twice a year, but this year has been like over 20 flights. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to start getting more and more.
Once you get a taste of loyalty, it is hard to go back. I'm not going to lie. It is hard to go back.
When my group number is over at the top and I don't have to worry about too many things and I get some upgrade lists, it makes a big difference. So.
I never have to pay for checked bags. Everything is expedited and seamless. If I need to change anything, I'm first on the list. I mean,
So what do you think, viewers and listeners? Put it here in the comments. Does it make a difference to you, these lounges? Would you care? You can say yes or no really quick, or give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Just we want to get a pulse here of what people are thinking when you see these lounges that airlines are creating. Would that sway you to book with them if they gave you something special for doing that? Curious what you think.
And not just actually in the airport, but also out.
Like out and about, like in the stadiums and the theaters. Like imagine they had one for World Cup. Lou says yes, and you get to the lounge, and Shakira sings her World Cup song for you in there. I would do it. Let's do it, Shakira.
Oh my gosh, Shakira, stop. She's a Lebanese sister with me. Okay, anyway.
That's right. She did great. She's here in Miami. We see her all the time. She's awesome.
Of course. Oh, I have a fun Shakira story. I'll quickly say from my concierge days. It's a super quick one. But she used to stay at one of my properties quite frequently. And one of the times she actually left there was a guitar that was left there. So I get a call and somebody calls and they're like, there should be a guitar there for Shakira. And I was just like, wait, what? This is crazy. And Well, oh my gosh, wait, I'm remembering it incorrectly. My bad. We had a guitar. It was in storage forever. And finally I had to dig around, figured it out, and I could see that it was for Shakira. So then I had to call the right people to be like, hey, you guys left a guitar here. Does anyone want to come get it? That's what it was. Because it was very strange that like nobody thought about it. And they're like, oh yeah, actually that would be great. And then they ended up sending somebody to come get the guitar. But yeah, that's my fun little Shakira story. But she'd stay at our hotels all the time back when I was at the Lermatese.
She's always very nice to everyone. She goes,
Yeah,
I don't want to say, I don't want to blow up the spot, but her kids go to the same place my kids do swim lessons and they do sports there. And she's always very nice to everybody when she's in there.
So. Yeah, of course.
All good. She was one of those celebrities that I'm a big fan of.
All right, your favorite segment of the day.
All right, everybody. I know this is the only reason you join and watch us live for this show.
The only reason you joined.
That's true. It's true. It's for Whose Brand Is It Anyway? Where our producer Will shows us an image on the screen of a brand, and we have to guess which parent company owns that brand. Lou, I know you love this part. So whose brand is it anyway? Sponsored by no one yet, but it will be. So if you want to be sponsoring Whose Brand Is It Anyway, the most popular part of the show, you let us know. We'll have you on here. So
all right.
Let's get into it here. What brand are we? This is not a real brand.
What?
Avid. All right. Avid. Avid.
I would say
AVID. AID. Wow. I'm going to strike out big one on this one. I'm going to go with, let's see here. And listeners and viewers, put in your guess. I'm going with Best Western. Best Western is my guess here today. Okay. We got Hilton, we got IHG. We got people guessing here. 5 seconds, 5 seconds. 5.
I'm going to go with IHG.
3, 2, 1. Whose brand is it anyway, Will? IHG. So why do we say this? Avid Hotels. I'm looking this up right now. Who are they?
Avid. Like you're an avid traveler.
Doesn't even show up.
Oh my! What do you mean?
Avid. Here it is. So at Avid Hotels, we are championing everyday travel at a fair price, meeting the needs of the guests who are all too often have to pay more for things they don't need or compromise on the quality they expect. So an extended stay hotel actually looks very nice. So sorry for the hate on the logo, Avid, but it looks very nice. Good setup here. Make sure to check it out. IHG Hotels and Resorts. I was way off, but Amber got it. Lonnie got it. Who else got it here today?
Oh,
the Lou closest one is in here. Lou said 2 weeks in a row for Steve and Best Western. I know, so Lou. I was like, I'm gonna get it right if I just keep guessing the same one over and over again.
Oh, weird. I actually know exactly where the closest one is to me. I charge my car there all the time.
Oh my gosh.
It's in between, in a very small place between Los Angeles and Las Vegas.
Very cool.
So it's fascinating. All right.
Paul Manzi, Samsonite. I was way off.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, Paul, you got jokes in you, huh?
Yeah. Wow. What a show today. We covered a lot. I can't believe we're already coming to the end here. I always love my Whose Brand Is It Anyway segment here. But Sarah, we haven't done a real-time recap in a long time here. What are you seeing out there? Have you been seeing anything in your town?
Oh gosh. I told you I have been a hermit. When I am home, I go to the grocery store and the gym. You guys, if you think my life is exciting, you see all my travels. And when I am home, I have a very boring life.
You don't like any fireworks? What's going on? Come on. July 4th?
Oh, yeah. We had July 4th weekend. No, I just went to the top of, I watched a movie with my mom and we went to the top of the building and watched. Yeah, very uneventful. Yes, fire. So what happened for your 4th of July? I'm sure way more exciting than mine.
Well, listen, I've become a beach expert here, and I'll tell you why. I used to, with my kids and my family, go to the hotels I used to work at. And we would go to the beach at, like the Lowe's Miami Beach Hotel, one of the best family-friendly hotels on the beach. I still get hooked up and get a beautiful day bed, and they set us up very nicely, and they serve us. But my kids thought that's what the beach was, right? Like every time we would go to the beach, that's what they associated with. Like, no, we got to shake this off. So we got some beach chairs, did things. So the first time we went to the beach, they're like, where's our server? Where's our day bed? I was like, no.
Where's our server?
So now I've got a pretty great beach setup and card and chairs and a little cabana that I put together. But this 4th of July, always special. We went over to Joe's Stone Crab, which has a great takeaway. So you don't have to dine in Joe's Stone Crab. And if you don't know it, it's one of the most historic restaurants here in Miami. And I'll say it was busy. It was a little bit delayed. And the manager of the takeaway area is like, I'm so sorry it took too long to get it to you. Didn't know who I was. I didn't prep this ahead. But gave cookies, Rice Krispie treats, and some other things for the kids to enjoy. And then we had a great, 4th of July on South Beach with fireworks and music and all the other stuff. So a great time on South Beach. So there's a little thing that could have gone a long way where you're getting hungry, you get a little hangry, the food's taking a long time.
Yeah.
They turn around with a couple sweets and really, authentic apology. So shout out to Joe Stone Crab. I'll keep coming back for sure.
Love
Nancy Digital saying, truly the sweet life. Truly. I had to teach the kids, like, there's hotel life.
And the proper way to beach. Not the proper way. This is the way 99.9% of people beach.
Yes. When I realized they were looking for the server the first time, I was like, okay, this is
oh man.
Well, anyhow, a lot going on.
Did remind me, I did play some pickleball, but we should talk about that on a future show because pickleball is really growing in a lot of different places. I have a couple of friends of mine that own different pickleball venues in different cities. So, but the hospitality aspect has been super fascinating. So I'll plant that seed that we put a pin in that and come back to that later. But
I'm curious, listener viewers, are you padel or pickleballers? I'm trying because padel is down here. Pickleball is not too much. So
it's different. You know what's so funny? Admittedly, when I first heard padel, I was like, is this just like you guys? It's like the difference of calling it Target or Target. And then I was like, oh, padel is actually different than pickleball.
No, there's a whole scene around it. Like I'm trying to see a little FOMO. There's a lot of people socialize there. It's like the new place the business gets done. A lot of people are making things happen. And there's like the exclusive clubs with restaurants and celebrities. It's crazy what's going on.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
I like it. Well, listen, we could talk all day about all the fun things going on in our cities, and listeners and viewers love when you tune in as always and participate in all of our fun segments here. And if you like something, make sure to subscribe because it will be alerting you and making sure you're staying on top of what we have going on. And please send this to one of your friends. There's definitely some value in this show. And if it was valuable to you, it'll be valuable to your friends. And until next week, Sarah.
Stay hospitable.